I want to tell you about a client that I'll call David. His details have been changed to protect his privacy, but the situation is real. David was 58, VP at a manufacturing company, 30 years in, 2.4 million in his 401k, a pension, a wife who had stopped working several years earlier to care for aging parents. His plan was simple: work until 64 and make sure that retirement number was big enough. Don't retire too early and run out. His fear, the one he never said out loud but that shaped every decision, was that he'd retire, something would go wrong, and he'd have no way to recover. It's one of the most common fears I hear, and in most cases it's based on incomplete information. When we ran the complete picture together, here is what we found. His pension, plus Social Security at 67, covered approximately 70% of their projected monthly spending without touching his 401k at all. His Roth conversion window, the years between when he retired and when RMDs would begin at 73, was 9 years. During that window, he had the opportunity to move $100,000 to $130,000 a year from his pre-tax account into Roth at a 22% rate. The alternative was doing nothing and paying 28 to 32% when RMDs forced the distributions later. The projected tax savings is approximately $230,000. For healthcare, he'd estimated around $2,000 a month for the two of them, but that dropped to around $800 a month once we structured his early retirement income carefully to qualify for ACA subsidies. The bridge to Medicare was manageable. The sequence of returns risk, the thing that had him most worried, was addressed by keeping 2 years of living expenses in stable assets so he'd never be forced to sell equities at a loss in a bad market year. When we walked through all of this together, David got quiet for a moment, and then he asked, "Are you telling me I already have enough?" The answer was yes. With the right plan, he could retire within the next 12 to 18 months, not 64, now. The big enough number he'd been chasing for 6 years? He'd had it for a while. He just couldn't see it because nobody had ever built the complete picture. He retired 14 months after our first meeting. His wife cried when he called HR to put in the date. David's story isn't rare. It's one version of a pattern that I see consistently. High achievers who've done everything right, saved aggressively, managed a portfolio, built real wealth, but have never had anyone integrate the whole picture: income sequencing, tax strategy, Social Security timing, healthcare costs, market risk, legacy, all in one place with their actual numbers. Most people who believe they're 4 or 5 years from retirement are actually 1 or 2 years away. The math is always there. They just needed someone to run it. The extra years they're working aren't adding much financially at that point. They're working for a feeling of certainty that they'd already earned. They just don't know it yet. If any part of David's story sounds familiar, if you've been moving your retirement date back or telling yourself you need 1 more year, I'd encourage you to at least run the numbers before deciding. The Retirement Readiness Scorecard linked below takes 5 minutes. 7 honest questions that show exactly where your plan stands today. It might tell you something surprising. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll answer them personally. Be sure to subscribe and follow.